This is Joseph Victorious, Grandmastermind, cybersecurity expert, and all-around genius. Thank you. With another episode of Bryan Kohberger. What the fuck? So, I'm extremely disappointed. Apparently, Bryan's legal team and Bryan have come to a decision to plead guilty on all counts. I thought they were going to put up a better fight. Based on my data analytics and previous analysis, Kohberger may have been able to make a compelling argument for reasonable doubt, quote unquote. Because, as far as I'm aware, there was a party at that house with dozens of people, if not hundreds, either the night before, the week before, or a week during the murder. Okay. A knife sheath is condemning evidence. However, it is not necessarily a killing dagger. There was some room for reasonable doubt. And the fact that one of the students and roommates / etc. was in that apartment / house and for hours didn't come outside, didn't call the police. It puts into question everything that happened. Plus, they found different blood at the crime scene, possibly from a third unknown suspect. So, yeah, I think they could have put up a better argument, a better fight. I mean, after all, it's only the man's freedom. So, and I want to make something clear here. I'm not condoning anybody's murder, okay? I don't believe in cold-blooded murder. I believe in cold-blooded revenge and justifiable and perhaps cold-blooded justice, but now cold-blooded murder. Self-defense is the only thing that I, condone. And of course, justifiable wars like bombing the shit out of a piece of crap Iran. State sponsor of terror since the fucking 60s. So, anyways, I digress. I'm upset and I'm disappointed. I made several videos about Kohberger. I thought there were several angles they could have gone with. I think his legal team is garbage. I don't know who's running that team. Probably a woman. The logic of a freaking amoeba. And yeah, he basically just looks like he's just going to throw his whole life away. He won't go far in prison. The victim's parents are angry that a plea deal was reached and they're not getting any satisfaction out of it. Obviously, they want him to fry like fried chicken and the electric chair. That's probably never going to happen. Meanwhile, Kohberger will continue to, receive women's panties and fan letters from psychopathic women, which many of them are, admiring him for being a psycho killer. Think it's cute because women are mentally disturbed, most of them, in my experience. So, yeah, And then there's the other angle where, he could have made a case that some of these women were bullying him and maybe even could have pleaded temporary insanity due to years of abuse, which apparently he received. So, I am sympathetic with Bryan Kohberger. I've heard and read pretty much everything about the case and about his history and his past. Okay. And I know how women are, so, you know, I do believe that at some point they all encountered each other. The women and Kohberger did meet at some point, either randomly in the cafe or or the party or some other place. And it's possible he may have attempted to make a pass or a move at one of them, and they probably humiliated him and scolded him. You know, if this was a movie, people will be like cheering on for him. He'll be the victim of psychotic bitches that are sadists and like to torment men. Okay, who don't fit their unrealistic standards. Melina ex-girlfriend. So because they're just sick. They have this unrealistic expectation of what a man should be. Either a model type, very tall with a enormous lengthy penis. Okay, this is not reality. Okay, you know, it is not reality. Women don't give men a chance to get to know them for who they really are, which is what really matters. Okay, the body fades. No matter how much you try to fight father time, the body fades. Looks fade, especially for women in their 30s. Malina. And yeah, so you know, like we all don't know the things I've been through with women. I know. I speak from an expert's point of view. Okay, most women are sadistic, psychotic, tormented with daddy issues or freaking bipolar, manic depressive. I can go on and on. Okay, that's how most women are. That's why men rule the world. That's why men will always rule the world. Okay. And that's just reality. If you don't like what I gotta say, if you think I'm a male chauvinist pig, well, you can kiss my ass. I really don't care. It's the reality of life. Okay. They don't give men the credit they deserve. Men are underappreciated, undervalued. Men build most everything in the world. They thought of everything in the world. We're smarter, we're stronger, we're faster, we're superior in every freaking way. Okay. This whole propaganda that women are like stronger because they give birth and all this shit. No. It's nothing but feminist propaganda. That's the reality of it, okay? So I am sympathetic to Bryan Kohberger. That I want to see him free, part of me did. Part of me did. You know why? Because there's legends, there's folklore, there's myth, there's tales of caution. Be careful who you fuck with and how you fuck with them. Especially men's feelings, okay? Okay. If you want to be a psychotic, sadistic bitch, okay, and then you torment the man, and then later on he snaps and guts you in pieces, I get you got no sympathy for me. Not that I would do something like that, but you get what you put out. If you want to be a psychotic, sadistic bitch, and then you end up dead because somebody snapped at your torment, or they accumulated torment from many women over the years, and then they just snap, and then you end up dead. It's like fuck around and find out. Do I condone murder? No. Okay. But like I said, there's consequences to everything you do in life. Okay. Things come back to haunt you. Remember that. Remember that when you open your mouth, things you say, the things you do. You never know. Later on, might be a year, might be a few years later, something come back to bite you. Then they'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Yeah, they ain't no sorry. Okay. So, and this video may like offend some people, and Bryan Kohberger's family may be like, going, "What the hell's wrong with you, man?" No, not what's wrong with me. What's wrong with women? Point the finger at them. Don't point the finger at me. I'm just speaking the truth here. Okay. I'm pretty sure most men would agree. Okay. Yes, I do believe that the years of torment for Bryan Kohberger, years of abuse, psychological. Who knows what this man had endured? Who knows what women have told this man, insulted him, barraged him, barraged his looks, barraged his weight, whatever the case may be. You know, unrealistic, superficial standards. Not tall enough, not rich enough, not handsome enough. All this superficial bullshit. Okay, they didn't see the intelligence of this man. Unfortunately, he had some bad luck. Apparently, he forgot the sheath. Other than that, it would have been the perfect crime. But a smart guy. He was going for his PhD. He wasn't a dummy. Careless. Don't confuse separate things to be the same. You know. We all have our handicaps. So, but it's disappointing. I think his legal team could have put up a better fight. At this point, I mean, it's pretty much too late. I don't think they can, take back what they did. And, you know, uh, his parents, the female's parents, yeah, I could understand from a father's point of view. It's your daughter. You want the killer to suffer and fry in the electric chair. And if it was my daughter, I probably would. But I can assure you one thing: that if I had a daughter, she wouldn't be a sadistic bitch. Were those women sadistic bitches with Bryan Kohberger? Possibly, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? But the man definitely experienced a lot of torment. This kind of rage, it builds up. Okay, I know. Believe me, I know. I know the deep rage that man experienced. It builds up. And some people, they just don't know how to handle it or deal with it, and then they snap, just like he did. I found other ways of dealing with my rage. But that's another story for another time. And this has been Joseph Victorious, the analysis and conclusion of Bryan Kohberger. Open-ended.